The mozzarella you buy at the supermarket may not be what you think it is. According to Asalot, mozzarella is present in the refrigerator of 9 out of 10 Italian households. Today, it is the best-selling cheese in Italy. But what happens when you discover that some brands hide serious issues, ranging from incorrect weight claims to questionable ingredients and even hygiene problems involving bacteria that can pose real health risks? In 2024, Altro Consumo tested 19 mozzarella brands sold in Italian supermarkets, and the results were shocking. 5 products weighed less than what was stated on the packaging. One mozzarella may have contained milk powder instead of fresh milk. 2 brands failed hygiene tests, with potential risks linked to listeria and salmonella. But the most surprising discovery was something else entirely. Some of the most famous and supposedly trustworthy Italian brands ended up at the very bottom of the ranking. Brands that consumers believed were a guarantee of quality turned out to be major disappointments. Today, we are revealing exactly those 5 brands. 5 mozzarella brands you should absolutely avoid. And yes, at the end, we will also show you the 2 brands you can buy with confidence. Welcome to Shelf Truth. Let's begin. In 5th place, we find Invernizzi, one of the most widely distributed mozzarella brands in Italian supermarkets. Invernizzi is part of the Lactalis Group, a French multinational corporation that also controls brands such as Galbani. The price is around €2.30 for a pack of 3 mozzarellas, which at first glance appears to be a safe and reliable choice. However, when we look closely at the test results, a very different picture emerges. Altro Consumo rated Invernizzi with 51 points, a score that reflects average quality. Not disastrous, but far from impressive. And this is precisely where the real issue lies. During professional tastings, the flavor was described as completely anonymous, lacking any distinctive notes, with a generic taste that could belong to almost any cheese. The texture was also disappointing, breaking apart more quickly than other brands, a clear indication that freshness is not optimal. But the biggest breach of trust lies elsewhere. Invernizzi presents itself as a historic Italian brand, founded in 1908, yet in reality it is just one name within a massive multinational portfolio. When a brand markets itself as a symbol of Italian tradition, but is actually controlled by a global corporation, consumers understandably feel misled. The biggest weakness is the price-to-quality ratio. Invernizzi is not cheap, yet it offers only barely acceptable quality. You are paying for the familiar name, the recognizable packaging, and the wide availability on supermarket shelves, not for a truly good product. And when better quality alternatives exist at the same price, a simple question arises. Why settle for mediocrity? In 4th place stands Galbani Santa Lucia, arguably the most famous mozzarella brand in Italy. It is everywhere, and for decades many Italian families have purchased it believing it to be a guarantee of quality. Unfortunately, the reality is very different. Let's start with the test results. Professional tasters describe the flavor as unpleasant, flat, and lacking depth, while the texture was judged to be strange and unconvincing. Galbani Santa Lucia already failed at the sensory evaluation stage. But that is not all. There are also serious issues related to weight accuracy. In 2023, a consumer reported a mozzarella weighing only 85 grams, despite a declared weight of 100 grams. Another customer found a mozzarella that was clearly cut and damaged, evidently during production. Galbani claimed this was normal, but in reality it reveals that quality control is not functioning as it should. And the problems continue. Galbani Santa Lucia uses citric acid instead of lactic acid bacteria. This choice speeds up production and reduces costs, but experts agree that citric acid alters the authentic flavor of real mozzarella. It is not dangerous and it is legally permitted, but it does not reflect traditional production methods. On Galbani's official website, the company claims that citric acid enhances sweetness, yet professional tasters report the opposite. The taste remains neutral, almost sterile. The most serious issue, however, is the price-quality relationship. Galbani Santa Lucia is more expensive than many discount brands, yet it delivers significantly lower quality. You pay more and get less. In third place is Vallalata, another brand from the Galbani universe. It is positioned as a premium product with a more modern package design and a higher price point. However, the problems are the same as those seen with Santa Lucia, and in some cases, even more severe. Vallalata became nationally infamous due to a scandal that shocked Italy, mozzarella that turned blue after being opened. Between 2020 and 2021, dozens of reports emerged from different supermarkets and different production batches, all with the same disturbing result: mozzarella turning blue. And it didn't stop there. Some consumers also reported red spots appearing on the mozzarella. Yes, red. One customer wrote on Trustpilot that she had already been disappointed twice. The first time, the mozzarella turned blue. The second time, it had red stains. She sarcastically wondered which color would come next, but made it clear there would not be a third purchase, as she would never buy Vallalata again. Another consumer reported eating a mozzarella that appeared normal at first, only to discover the next day that the water inside the package had turned blue. The cause of this phenomenon is Pseudomonas fluorescens, a bacterium that indicates failures in the production process or cold chain management. It is not considered dangerous to human health, but when a product turns blue after opening, it is clear that something is fundamentally wrong. The real concern is how many people consume this mozzarella without even noticing the color change. Once again, weight discrepancies also appear. In 2023, a consumer weighed 3 mozzarellas labeled at 125 grams each. The first weighed 68 grams, the second 91 grams, and the third 102 grams. Together, they totaled 261 grams instead of the declared 375 grams, more than 100 grams missing. Galbani once again explained this as normal production damage. But when a mozzarella is visibly cut and damaged, a critical question arises. How did it leave the factory in that condition? Where is the quality control? Consumer reviews on Trustpilot are devastating. Vallalata holds a rating of just 1.9 out of 5. The core issue is that Vallalata is sold as a superior alternative to Santa Lucia. It costs more, looks more modern, yet it is produced in the same facility and suffers from the same structural problems. In second place, we find Granarolo, one of the biggest names in the Italian dairy industry, with an annual turnover of approximately 1.3 billion euros. When consumers see the Granarolo name, they expect reliability, professionalism, and strict quality controls. But this is exactly where the problem begins. Between 2024 and 2025, Granarolo repeatedly found itself at the center of product recalls, and not for minor issues, but for serious failures. In March 2024, a mozzarella produced for Lidl under the Meravita brand was recalled due to incorrect expiration dates printed on the packaging. On the same package, 3 different dates appeared: March 15, 2023, March 15, 2025, and the correct date, March 15, 2024. This level of confusion could easily lead consumers to eat expired products. Then in August 2025, another recall followed, this time involving 5 production batches sold at Penny Market, Conad, and Carrefour. The reason was particularly alarming: the possible presence of metal fragments inside the packaging. And that was not the end of it. Just weeks earlier, yet another recall had occurred, this time due to potential plastic fragments in the mozzarella. 3 recalls in less than 2 years, 3 completely different issues: incorrect labeling, metal contamination, and plastic contamination. This is not an isolated incident, it is a pattern. And it gets worse. In Altro Consumo's 2024 tests, Granarolo mozzarella scored just 46 points, one of the worst results in the entire ranking. Experts describe the flavor as disappointing, the texture as inadequate, and the overall quality as far below expectations. Consumer reviews on Trustpilot paint an even darker picture. There are reports of mozzarellas spoiling before the expiration date, milk turning sour after just one day, and packages developing gas. One review described Granarolo as a miserable brand, with mozzarellas rotting before the expiration date. Another reported triple-pack mozzarellas weighing only 85 grams instead of the declared 100 grams. And yet, Granarolo continues to sell millions of packages every month as if nothing happened. In Italy, the recall system is voluntary. Companies decide for themselves whether to recall a product. There are no serious penalties, often just a PDF published on the Ministry of Health's website that hardly anyone reads. Granarolo knows these failures are affordable. The reputational damage is minimal, consumers quickly forget, and the same mozzarella is back on the shelf the following week. In first place, the biggest disappointment of all stands Bioconsiglio. Bioconsiglio is the only mozzarella with a certified organic label among all the products tested by Altro Consumo. It is sold at Natura C, the well-known organic grocery chain, and it costs significantly more than conventional mozzarella. For many consumers, that higher price represents a promise. Organic means stricter controls, better raw materials, and higher safety standards. But this is exactly where that promise is broken. Bioconsiglio received only 46 points from Altro Consumo, placing it dead last in the entire ranking, tied with Granarolo, but with even more serious shortcomings. First, Bioconsiglio failed the taste test. Experts describe the flavor as flat and unpleasant, and the texture as strange and unappealing. Second, the product was rated insufficient in terms of hygiene and storage conditions. It failed bacteriological checks, which is unacceptable for a fresh dairy product. Third, the price makes the situation even worse. Bioconsiglio is not a budget mozzarella. It is a premium organic product sold in specialized stores. Consumers pay significantly more and receive the lowest quality in the entire test. But the real scandal goes even further. How can an organic mozzarella, which should be subject to stricter controls and higher standards, perform worse than many conventional products that cost half as much? This exposes a deeper issue. The organic label is being used as a marketing tool to justify higher prices, while actual product quality fails to keep up. Bioconsiglio proves that a product can carry every certification imaginable and still be poorly made and potentially unsafe. For consumers, this is the ultimate betrayal of trust. People buy organic because they want the best for themselves and their families. They pay more believing that money is invested in quality. And in the end, they get the worst mozzarella in the supermarket, with hygiene issues that should never exist. After everything we have seen, one unavoidable question remains. Is there any mozzarella left that you can safely buy at the supermarket? Are there truly good, reliable options available? The answer is yes, and what may surprise you most is that one of the best mozzarellas costs less than almost every brand we criticized earlier. In second place overall in Altro Consumo's ranking, with 66 points and the title of Best Buy, is Conad's private label mozzarella. Yes, the supermarket's own brand. The price is around €2.50 for a pack of 3 mozzarellas, making it cheaper than Galbani, cheaper than Granarolo, and cheaper than Vallelata, while delivering significantly higher quality. The key difference starts with production. Conad mozzarella uses live lactic acid cultures instead of citric acid, following the traditional method. The result is a more authentic flavor and a much better texture. It is produced by Sabelli, a dairy company from the Marche region that specializes in mozzarella and fresh cheeses. Conad chose a quality-focused producer and imposed strict standards, and that is exactly what makes the difference. Altro Consumo experts praised its perfect texture, balanced flavor, and clear freshness. This mozzarella tastes like fresh milk, has the right elasticity, and melts in your mouth the way mozzarella should. There were no hygiene issues and no recalls in recent years. Consumers confirm this experience. One customer wrote that once she discovered Conad mozzarella was produced by Sabelli, she wanted to buy every pack on the shelf. She described it as milky, soft, easy to digest, and excellent when melted. Low price, high quality, and an almost perfect value for money. And then we arrive at first place, the biggest surprise of all. The best mozzarella in the entire test is a discount product, Merivio, Lidl's private label. The price is around €1 per pack, roughly a third of what some premium brands charge, yet it outperformed them all. Experts described a fruity flavor, excellent balance, and a flawless appearance. No one expected a discount mozzarella to achieve such results. Once again, live lactic acid cultures are used instead of citric acid, proving that traditional methods still matter. Merivio mozzarella is produced by Granarolo for Lidl. Yes, the same Granarolo we strongly criticized earlier. But here lies the key insight. Lidl enforces extremely strict supplier controls. If standards are not met, suppliers are removed. This proves a fundamental truth. Granarolo is fully capable of producing high-quality mozzarella when it is required to do so. Under its own brand, shortcuts are taken and quality is reduced. For Lidl, that is not allowed. The result is the best supermarket mozzarella at the lowest price. If you need to buy mozzarella today, this is the right choice. Affordable, high quality, and independently tested as better than all premium brands. At the end of this journey through the world of mozzarella, one uncomfortable but undeniable truth remains. You cannot trust the name on the package. You cannot trust the price. And you cannot automatically trust the organic label either. What truly matters are independent tests, laboratory analyses, and verifiable data. We have seen that the most expensive mozzarella can be the worst, that an organic product can have more serious hygiene issues than conventional alternatives, and that famous brands hide behind their reputation while quality quietly collapses. At the same time, we have also learned that inexpensive products can be excellent when strict controls and clear standards are enforced. Conscious shopping means refusing to be influenced by marketing, tradition, or packaging design. It means seeking information, reading labels, and making decisions based on facts. The next mozzarella you pick up at the supermarket should not be the one you have always bought, but the one whose quality is proven. You now know which brands to avoid and which ones you can buy with confidence. This knowledge gives you power as a consumer. Use it. Because only informed shoppers force manufacturers to improve. And that is exactly what Shelf Truth stands for.